fact, life gets more bizarre and unusual and unstable, and you will
your
isolate
relationships
yourself
become
from...
unstable. Yeah.
Yeah. You will
because
isolate
the people
yourself
around
from
you
some
no
of the things.
longer recognize who you are,
Well, that's the very sentence I'm trying to say. You will isolate yourself from the things that used to bring you comfort and reassurance. So some of those old relationships will come to an end. So transformation is a radical business. It's not just about making life a bit prettier and happier. It really transforms things. It changes your job, your life, everything. I mean, it doesn't mean for the worse, but it does mean it will change. And all the things that you thought you knew will alter. And for some people that's exciting if they're not in a good position. But if you are in a good position, you think, well, I've got quite a good thing going here. If I engage with this thing that Kramer's talking about, this unfoldment, this mystical transformation, I might lose it all. And I'm nodding, saying, that's right. You may very well lose it all. So you think about what you're doing here, and then, and then we'll talk.
To see if you really want to do it.
Yeah, because if somebody isn't sure, then I can't be sure for them. So you need to say to yourself at the inner level, it's all very easy to say, well, we know it's not about material comforts and so on. It's about something spiritual. But if that's where your knowledge stops, that's not enough to make the change to actually walk out on your own life, if you know what I mean. Even if you've got no responsibilities, no wife and kids, no debts of any description, energetic or otherwise. Even if you're in that privileged position where you can do whatever the hell you like, most people won't walk out on that because they don't really want to change. So the very first thing that has to be addressed, and which is part of my book, is this change is actually our friend, and change the best thing on the planet. It's really an excellent formulation that's been put into this whole system to help us. And once you start to twig that, once you start to acknowledge that and make it part of your life, then you're no longer resisting things all the time, and therefore you're no longer suffering in the way that you used to do. That stops. And, weird stuff still happens. Unusual events will trip you up. You'll still get a bloodied nose now and again. But it's not going to prevent you from taking risks. It's not going to prevent you from magnetizing, wonderful things into your life. For most people, it does. But with this philosophy, this spiritual reality that I suggest to people, all that changes. So that change becomes your change. You do a preemptive strike on it and you make it your own.
Yeah, I think too that you eventually come to a place where you have a guidance system that is very trustworthy and gives you a lot of information on things that you might not know, that makes things a lot better if things are looking a little shaky. And that guidance system, really, you have the confidence of handling anything, including death, including sickness, including pain. That guidance system will take you right through it. And that's really what the unfoldment is the development of this level of consciousness so that you are very comfortable with whatever might come, because the fear just isn't there.
I think that's a fair statement. Yeah, and I'd be happy if that's what it achieves for people to say this guidance system of knowing how true something is all you need to have a full and satisfying life. And through the 23 sections in this book, I will deal with different aspects of that and how it works. Some very phenomenal and esoteric and magical, some very domestic, simple things in our lives about relationships and people and work and marriage and children, all of it, and the most weird, far-out stuff you've ever heard of, all of it. I will look at those things, and by the end of it, you should have a sense that your guidance system is something that is, if I may use the expression, God-given, in that it's kind of absolutely spot on all the time. The only thing that gets in its way is you. So if you can take your own egoic projections out of it, It's absolutely perfect. You know, people who go target shooting will say to me, your body knows how to shoot. You just need to learn to step out of the way and let it happen. So
how true.
Archery and shooting, target shooting, that is not necessarily talking about hunting here, but archery is a natural human faculty. We do it. We know how to send a projectile through the air and hit the target without too much instruction. What you have to instruct yourself in is how to get out of the way of that stuff and just let it happen. And it's like that with so many things in life, with music, with sexuality, with any sort of sport, anything like that, where you need to let it flow, let the energy flow, is get out of the way and let it happen.
Well, we're coming up on the end of our hour, Neil. I do want to tell you, I really enjoyed your book. It's a great book. I've been doing this show for 17 years weekly, so you can tell I've read a lot of books. But yours was.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very
really
kind
done
of you.
a great job, and I would highly recommend it to my audience out there. Would you like to give your contact information for those listening?
Sure, yeah. Basically, all my stuff is in one place, which is neilkramer.com. That's neilkramer.com, neilkramer.com. So my interviews, essays, the book, The Unfoldment, you can get from there. You get it from all good bookstores, get it from the obvious online retailers, and DVDs, audiobooks, etc. You'll see everything at neilkramer.com.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a great hour of discussion, and hope to have you back on sometime.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Oh, great. Next week we have Frank Joseph, The Lost Worlds of Ancient America, Compelling Evidence of Ancient Immigrants, Lost Technologies, and Places of Power. And then on the 17th we have Tammy Georgia, Touchstone Moments, Golden Nuggets on a Shaman's Path. And on the 24th, Amit Goswami. Dr. Goswami is back. God is not dead. What quantum physics tells us about our origins and how we should live. Noetic Science Meeting is on the 15th of November. It's on gas discharge visualization imaging, which is kind of Corinian photography, by Lorraine Eldridge. That's at 7:30 at the Dunwoody office. And then Dr. Mike Greenberg is giving a lecture on You Can Prevent Dementia at our office in Dunwoody at 7:15 p.m. on the 27th. Thanks so much, Neil. Great conversation, and enjoyed your book.
Thank you.
This is Dr. Susan Kolb with Temple of Health Radio Show. Please join us next week.